Hey everybody, and welcome to another Friday morning Mortgage Coach Productivity Mastermind call. This call every Friday is about helping you make more money in less time. We've got my co-host Todd Bookspan on today's call. What's up, Todd?
Hey, not much. So excited to be back after a week off.
Yeah, good to have you back. Whether we do it this week, Todd, or next week, I want to make sure we learn a little bit about the event you went to and the things that you learned that would be relevant to this group. We do have a special guest, Chris Johnstone. What's up, Chris?
Hey, everybody. Hey, Dave.
Good. Really looking forward to it. Uh-oh. We got a little noise there. We're also going to bring in Jacqueline Gallegos at halftime, and she's going to talk about how she's getting 50% of her clients to fill out her reviews and how she made it to be one of the top most, I guess, out of the entire United States, with social survey, she was one of the 25 best rated loan officers. What's up, Jacqueline?
Wow.
Hello.
Hello. We'll bring in a little bit here. And then we do have Jen Duplessis as one of the mentors on today's call. She's not got video going, but what's up? What's up, Jen?
Hi. Excited to be back, too. I was gone last week, too, Todd, so happy to be back.
Right on. Well, this is going to be a very interactive call. You know, Chris is an expert on Facebook marketing and advertising and just social media as a whole. He's been referred to me a few times over the years. His name has come up. Most recently, and what brought him in today's call is I was interviewed by, oh my gosh. God, I just had a Carl White. I mean, just had a brain fade. Like everybody knows Carl White. But I was honored to be interviewed by Carl White on his podcast, which, by the way, check it out. I'm not going to say it was great because it was an interview with me. I'll let other people.
Oh, we're sure it had to be great. We know it was great.
Yeah, I don't know if it was great, but it was an on-point conversation. How to get more referrals from realtors, how to close more of those referrals with realtors, and Carl did a great job. And by the way, he's got a great podcast, so check it out. There's a link somewhere in our Facebook group. And Carl, thank you for introducing me to Chris. But I think what I want to say about Chris is, first of all, a guy like Carl White, who is like he is the godfather of lead gen. I mean, the guy has been doing lead gen in the mortgage space for years. He's created an incredible community based around how do we make the phone ring? How do we get leads? And I asked him, who do you know that could talk and be an expert around Facebook? And he's like, Chris Johnstone. I mean, it was like, this is my go-to guy. So I'm like, oh, this is your go-to guy. Let's bring him into our community. So you guys have asked some questions. Chris posted some questions in the Facebook group. If you didn't respond with a question, it's not too late. You could still, I would recommend during this call live that you put those questions into GoToWebinar, and we will get to them. And with that said, Chris, I'm going to hand it off to you and let you share your desktop, have you take over. I'm going to step off the stage, stop sharing my desktop, and why don't you, tell us a little bit about you, and then I think you want to share best practices, and then we'll do Q&A.
Okay, great. Awesome. Well, first off, thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here and to share what we're doing. And so like a little bit about myself, I run a company called Connection Incorporated, and we work specifically with mortgage lenders, loan officers, and mortgage brokers to generate online leads. That's all we do. So we work with Facebook and Google to generate mortgage deals through online advertising. And today, what I've got for you is what I hope is a very valuable presentation. I'm not going to do any of the hype around, how big Facebook is and all of that sort of thing, because I think everybody gets that at this point. So what I am going to do is just show you some best practices where I see most clients going wrong when we take over an account and manage it for them, so that if you're potentially running into any of those pitfalls, you can save yourself that budget and rework that. And then I've brought one of our campaigns to kind of step you through so that you can see kind of behind the scenes of a campaign that's running right now, that's generating good leads, that's generating closings. So that was my plan for the call. And then Q&A after that, And again, I'm thrilled to be part of the community and happy to help everybody. Things are changing very, very quickly, so I won't have the answers to all of your questions, but I got a phenomenal team behind me, and with all of us working on it, we're going to make sure that you're well supported. Is that cool, Dave?
Beyond cool. Love it. Looking forward to what you have to share.
And can you see my screen, how to generate mortgage deals from Facebook?
Absolutely. We see it.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to fix the top 3 mistakes, do some successful campaign walkthroughs, and then do a Q&A. I thought that we would start with this survey that was done by Accenture. So you can just type in Accenture mortgage survey into Google and find this. This is on page 6 of the 7-page report. And they found that more than a fifth, or 23% of U.S. consumers who purchased a mortgage over the past year with their survey did so through the internet or an online channel. So that kind of takes in Google and Facebook and all these wonderful things. And what I'm going to be showing you how to do is really target the new people that are interested in potentially getting a mortgage, and then make sure that your message and your education is bringing them to you through Facebook. And in doing so, we're going to go through these top 3 mistakes. So when I go into an account, primarily there's issues in all 3 of these areas. One is the campaign structure. So not actually setting up the right types of campaigns in order to generate leads on Facebook. Most people will go in and just generate one type of campaign, run one ad budget for X amount of time, and then make a decision as to whether or not it's worked or not. And I'm going to walk you through the different campaign types that you can use and why you should be testing multiple campaign types. Then audience targeting. Again, most of the accounts that we get access to and that we get the opportunity to look at only has one type of audience targeting in it, and most people are actually missing the lowest hanging fruit that exists on Facebook. So I'm going to show you how to capture that, and the metrics and measurements, because if you don't know what's working, it's very difficult to scale, and it's actually very difficult to get ROI. So getting into the first mistake that I normally see is campaign structure. So when you go into the ads manager on Facebook to run your campaign, they give you a plethora of options of different campaign types that you can choose from. And this is obviously a little bit overwhelming if you don't know what you're looking at. So I'll run you through these really quickly, and I've got the blue arrows here to kind of outline the ones that you should be trying first. But the first 2 that you see at the top with the first 2 blue arrows there, one is a traffic campaign and the other is a conversion campaign. And when you're choosing a campaign type, you're telling Facebook what type of algorithm you want them to run to optimize your campaign. And that's one of the most powerful things that you have available to you when you're running a Facebook campaign, is allowing Facebook to put your message in front of the right people. So when you choose a traffic campaign, you're going to be driving traffic to either a lead generation page or your website specifically. And what Facebook will look at is what ads or what people are clicking on your advertisement, and show your ads to more of people like the people that have clicked on the ad. When you choose a conversion campaign, it's almost identical, except Facebook will watch who's filling out the form and show ads to the people that are like the people that are filling out the form. So to give you a rough idea, if most of your leads are coming through and they're between 45 and 47, they like a specific set of business pages and they have a specific type of targeting, Facebook will show, even though you've put potentially a broad spectrum of people that you can show your ads to, Facebook will focus in on just the people that are most likely to fill out your offer. So over time, your cost per lead goes down and your leads become higher quality in the business. So if you're only testing one campaign type, Facebook really only has one opportunity to try and give you better leads through your campaign. So that's what it is, and that's why it's important. The other 3 that you definitely want to take a look at are lead generation ads, which is a lead form that happens directly on Facebook, so you don't have to drive people to a website. You can capture their information right on Facebook. And then messenger ads. So we're running ads right now that are offering a free real-time rate quote, and we're having people initiating live chat sessions through the advertisement direct to the mortgage lender, and the mortgage lender is able to then respond back in real time through Facebook to get that person on an appointment and then work them through, your natural process. And again, they're all optimized in a different way, and each campaign type is going to get you a different audience. And then you also want to try store visits as well, because those are great for building your brand and running a great local marketing campaign. So make sure that you test multiple campaign types. And the reason why this is important, I brought an example here, is your campaign type will perform differently in each marketplace. So some marketplaces, a lead generation ad works really well, where in other marketplaces, we'll take that exact same campaign and it won't work as well. So we'll have to try a traffic campaign or a conversion campaign. So in this particular example, we started off, you can see down at the bottom, we ran a website conversion campaign and we ran a traffic campaign. The website conversions were coming in at $61 a lead. The traffic campaign was generating leads at $58.92 a campaign. So we said, okay, let's move this over to a lead generation campaign where we're just generating the lead forms on Facebook, and we were able to drop our cost per lead down to $11.27. So it's just an example of how if you're not running different campaign types, you may be thinking that like Facebook will only generate one type of lead for you, when in reality you can get a better result from that. So hopefully that makes sense and that's valuable for you. The other campaign structure issue that we run into, or that we see people running into all of the time, is that they're only trying one type of targeting. So they'll go into Facebook, they'll choose the campaign type, and they'll run one ad set. So the ad set, when you run your campaign, is where you choose who you're going to target your advertisement to. And most people will just say, okay, I want people that are interested in real estate and mortgages between these age brackets, and then they just run their campaign to those people. In reality, you should be breaking down the structure of your campaign to each avatar that you have. And each campaign can really be broken into, okay, I'm going to go after first-time buyers. I'm going to go after my mid-market. I'm going to go after a little bit of an older demographic, and write different advertisements based on the people that you're targeting. And when you get a little bit more specific, Facebook is able to do a better job of optimizing your campaign for you. And it gives you all kinds of great data, because when you go into your ad set after you've broken it down and tested out multiple types of people that you're targeting, you can see who's responding to your advertisement. So in this example screenshot that I took out of one of our accounts, you can see that 72% of the leads that were coming from this particular campaign were female. So what we did in this instance was we rewrote the ads to be a little bit more friendly, a little bit nicer language towards that demographic, turned off all of the male targeting on that specific ad set, and we were able to decrease our cost per lead and increase the number of leads that were coming through the funnel, just by starting off by narrowing it down into that one subset and then going even further. So over time, your Facebook account can get very, very targeted and very smart at generating the right types of leads. And this goes into basically every vertical that you want to go after. So it's different for just your general mortgage consumers. It's different for refinancing. It's different for VA loans. And you can target each of those specific people by city, by state, and by actual demographics and interests. So make sure that you're testing multiple ad sets, because you'll find real winners. And then what I also wanted to share with you here today is the way that we set up our ad campaigns. Okay, so most of the time when I go into a Facebook account, we'll see one campaign that's running one ad set with one ad targeting those people. And again, it's very difficult to determine if your advertisements are going to work if you're not split testing. So what I wanted to give you was internally on the agency side of things, this is how we start every single ad set that we run. We run 9 ads all at the same time. There are 3 images that we test, and then there are 3 pieces of copy that we test. So because there's 3 different ads that we've written and 3 different images, you end up with 9 total ads that are all being shown to the same ad set inside the one campaign. And what that allows you to do is to very quickly identify which image is converting the most amount of clicks and which copy or headline is resonating best with the audience. You take the 3 winners and create a combination of the 3 best performing ads, pause the rest of them, and then split test from there. But if you're only running one ad and that ad isn't successful, you've essentially lost the opportunity to have a successful campaign by not giving Facebook, again, enough advertising copy to be able to test and see what's actually working. So that is campaign structure. So you want to make sure, test different campaigns, make sure that you set up your ad sets properly, and make sure that you're running roughly 9 advertisements inside each ad set so that you can actually optimize your campaign. Now, the next mistake that I normally see is audience targeting, because everybody is targeting the general audience. So they'll log into Facebook, go into the targeting, and this may look familiar to some of you, where you've just gone in, you've picked your city, and then you've put in every mortgage-related phrase that you can think of in the detailed targeting, and then run your Facebook ad campaign. Well, if you're running it that way, you're actually missing out on the 2 most profitable types of targeting that you can do. So there are 3 targets inside Facebook. There's your general audience, which is what most everybody is doing. Then there is database and website retargeting. So you can upload a list of your past clients or potentially your prospects to Facebook and have your ads shown to those people. They're called custom audiences, and you just go into your Facebook account, click on audiences, and upload your custom audience. The other type of custom audience that you can set up is called retargeting. And what this does is makes it so that anybody that visits your website, when they log back into Facebook, they see your advertisements, right? And those are very effective, and I've got a little case study slide for you next that will show you the difference between just general audience targeting and how much you get per lead, and then your retargeting audience. Now, the third and the type that I absolutely love is called a lookalike audience, because once you've set up your website retargeting and your custom audiences of your database, you can go into Facebook and say, hey, Facebook, here's my database of past customers, and I want you to target the 1% of people on Facebook that are just like my customers, but only show my ads to them when they're interested in mortgages or real estate. And you get this hyper-targeted, very responsive audience that you can reach for a very minimal budget, but get great response from, because they're already, they're very likely to have an affinity to you and your audience. So make sure that when you're running your Facebook ads, you're not just going after the general audience. Make sure that you take the time to actually set up your custom audiences, set up your retargeting, and create the lookalike audiences, and make sure that you're targeting those people. And we've all heard in advertising, it takes an average of 7 touches or 7 advertisements to a prospect to actually get a result. And we're seeing that on Facebook. So this is a snapshot of a 30-day window inside one of our client accounts. And you can see the bottom line that says Connection Incorporated Free Report Mortgage PTK. You can see that we're generating leads at $10.42 per lead for mortgage leads that are interested in getting mortgage information and tools to help them with their mortgage. And then you can see the website retargeting, our leads are at $7.99. And if you look at the result rate, 0.34% of people are essentially responding to this offer that we're putting in front of them, whereas our retargeting result rate, over 1% of the people that are seeing that offer are actually taking us up on the offer and coming back in. So these people are going to our landing page, not opting in, seeing our retargeting campaign, and opting in later on down the line. Those would be leads that we would be leaving on the table if we weren't leveraging retargeting in our campaign. So audience targeting, very important, can make a very big difference on the return on investment as to what you're putting into Facebook. And then the third is measurements. If you're not actively measuring on kind of a weekly and monthly basis what you're getting from your campaigns, it's very difficult to look at your Facebook account and look at the investment that you're putting into it and say, okay, I put X amount of dollars in and I received X amount of dollars out. That's ultimately what we want to be able to do with our advertising, because when you know those numbers, it allows you to scale. It allows you to invest more because you know that you're going to return more from the campaign. So you should be tracking these metrics. And Dave, I'll apologize because I went full screen with the presentation. I can't see whether you guys are popping in or out to ask questions. So I'll just keep going. But if you would like to stop me, feel free to cut me off at any time. Hey,
Chris, first of all, no problem. I was going to pop in, but I've made a list of questions, and we'll do it after you go through it. I do want to make sure everybody knows these slides are available for you.
Yeah.
Chris was kind enough to make them available. So right now during the event, they're in our control panel handout section. And if you were watching this from a video, we will put a link to the PDF to these slides down below. So for the folks that have been asking for your slides, thank you, Chris. And they're either in the link in the video down below in description, or they are in handouts. Keep it rocking, Chris, and let us know when we can start doing some Q&A.
Okay, cool. So when you're doing your measurement, and whether you track this through your CRM or something like a spreadsheet, you should absolutely know these numbers. So cost per lead you get from Facebook when you set up all your conversion tracking properly. You should know, I put X amount of dollars into Facebook. Here's how many leads I was able to generate. Here's what I paid per lead. Then outside of Facebook, you need to measure lead to actual conversation, so the number of leads that you're able to speak to that you generate, and then from that conversation, how many people submit an application, and then from application to closing, so that you can actually attribute the return on investment from that closed loan back to the actual Facebook account and the Facebook lead that you generated. So those are the metrics that you want to be keeping track of. So now, with those kind of out of the way, I'm hoping that you can take that information and look at the campaigns that you're actively running, or when you run your campaigns, it keeps you from wasting that budget by potentially falling into some of those pitfalls. And now I'd like to give you a campaign template. So these campaign templates, we have roughly 9 of them in our business, and they each have a name, and they're all campaigns that we've figured out over time. And once we've figured them out, we've turned them into a process, and now we have them as these standard operating procedures within the organization. And you know, there's all kinds of different leads that you can generate through Facebook. You can do real estate buyer leads or real estate seller leads and use those with a referral partner, or you can just go direct to market for mortgages, and you can go direct to market for purchase. You can go direct to market for first-time home buyers. There's all kinds of different options, and we've essentially laid out 9 campaigns that work really well. This one is called the Wealthy Professor, and the reason why we call it that is because we are positioning you, or you're positioning yourself, in the role of the educator and the person who's providing the tools to them to make the decision on their mortgage. When you're running Facebook advertisements, you're getting in front of people very early in the purchase process, right? That's basically the difference between a Facebook lead and a Google lead. A Google lead goes onto Google and looks for you. A Facebook lead, you're pushing advertisements into the marketplace and attracting people to you, right? So a Facebook lead takes a little bit longer to close, but it still works exceptionally well. And the Wealthy Professor campaign is built in a way where you're able to establish that relationship with that person and make sure that you've got a strong relationship all the way to closing. So we're not going out and advertising rates. We're not advertising just the general mortgage business. What we're doing is we're advertising tools and support to answer their questions and guide them through the mortgage process. So we're giving away a free report in this campaign to generate the leads. This is the targeting that we're using. So I put that on the slide. We won't go through each one of them, but you can take that from the slide presentation, punch that into your Facebook account, and know that you're getting off on a really good foot. The one thing I wasn't able to get on the slide presentation there is at the bottom it'll say exclude people. You want to click on that button and put in mortgage broker, mortgage lender, so that your competition isn't seeing your advertisements. because you can exclude people from your targeting as well as add people to your targeting. So make sure that you're excluding your competition in your local marketplace. And then this is the advertisement, and it says free mortgage buying toolkit in the headline. The subhead is sign up today for free, and the button says learn more. At the top in the actual Facebook portion of the advertisement, it says every mortgage shopper should have an up-to-date mortgage calculator, a financial affordability worksheet, and somebody to ask questions to and get access to immediate rates. We're offering all three in this free guide. Click Learn More for more information. And they have to click on See More to see that full ad copy. And when they click on Learn More, we are driving them to a Lead Pages website. So we built this using Lead Pages. You can use ClickFunnels. You can use all kinds of tools out there to create this page. And we created a book cover on Canva and then put almost the identical copy that we're using in the advertisements on the actual landing page itself. When they click on Download the Toolkit Now, there's a pop-up that asks them for their first name, last name, email, and phone number. And then that's converting them. So this landing page here is converting at roughly, it fluctuates day to day, but it's between 12% and 14% of the people that click on the link that land on this lead generation page will actually submit their information and become a lead. Now, here is the key to growth: follow-up. On the back end of these leads, you don't want to just call them once and then put them in a drawer on your desk or whatever, right? You want to make sure that you actually have a process or some form of CRM on the back end that you're dropping these people into. And we recommend that you're following up with people via phone immediately, have them in an email drip, and send a nice, friendly, direct message or a text message to that person, at least on the first day. Just, hey, did you get your report? Any questions I can help you out with? And just that very friendly, nurturing conversation. Now, I wanted to show you behind the scenes the stats from this actual campaign. So that exact process that you just saw, the targeting, the ad, which I pulled the best performing ad out of our campaign for you so that you could see, and then that landing page of the free report. Over the last 4 months, we've got $3,903. I apologize, my eyes aren't what they used to be. $3,903.36 total spent. We're at an average of $13.94 per lead, and that's generated a total of 280 leads through that process. So you can kind of take that and swipe it as it is. So with that, if you'd like help with your campaign, there we go. I'm happy to help. So my email is chris@connectionincorporated.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions. We'll hop into the Q&A and get you answers to any of the questions that you have.
I think you're muted, Dave. I think there's a ton of questions, and it's funny, as I was writing, I kept writing down questions, and Chris, you were awesome, because as I wrote a question down, you answered it during your presentation. So you answered about 95% of my questions, which was awesome. But Dave, you had a question you were already asking, so I'll tip my hat to you.
Well, I was just saying how great it was. That was great. I got a lot of great feedback in Q&A. I got a few texts, which is awesome. Also, I posted a question in our Facebook group saying, how many leads and how many loans monthly are you getting from Facebook advertising? So I would love to know from the community who's doing this, how you're doing it. Couple questions that came in, and then I'll give it to the other coaches. One person asked, how much money does a loan officer or realtor need to budget per month to do serious Facebook marketing? What is the kind of budget that loan officers or realtors need to budget here?
Okay, so that is a fantastic question. Your minimum per ad set is $5 a day. So in a fairly decent campaign that's structured out, you should have 3 ad sets. That's about $15 a day, and you can extrapolate that out. And that's just to get started. That's so that over the first 30 days, potentially 60 days, you can establish a cost per lead. And that's why the metrics are so important. Because if you know how many leads you're generating, how many appointments you're getting, and how many applications you've taken in the first 30 or 60 days, you can extrapolate that out into how much you're actually going to return from that, and then you can scale based on that. So you've got to give it kind of $15 a day so that you can establish how much you're going to spend per lead, and then you can scale based on how many leads it is that you want.
Got it. Now, I've interviewed a lot of folks. Like I interviewed Tina Bellevue, top, fastest growing realtor. Facebook is how she's made a lot of business. Now she did it. She's got a great Facebook page. She's got a great presence. It's a major source of business, but she doesn't do Facebook advertising. And then I had a couple of members who I recognize where they've got a great Facebook profile. They're making money. You know, they're getting leads and loans in how they organically use Facebook, and they don't have a Facebook page. Does someone need to have a Facebook page in order to do Facebook advertising?
So great question, and the answer is yes. So when you run an ad, it has to be associated with a business page. You know, how active that business page needs to be, you know, it doesn't have to be incredibly active, but you do have to have a business page in order to run the advertisement.
Now, what about someone who, you know, has used Facebook strategically? They've been very intentional. They've built up a profile. How much do they need to invest in their business page? Because I even know for like me personally, I maxed out on my personal page, and I don't want to do one of those public figure pages because I just don't want to have to manage another social channel. And so it's kind of like I'm staying personal. Like, would I do a business page so that I could, you know, do Facebook advertising? Yes. How much do they really need to do on their business page for anybody on this call that doesn't have one already?
So that's another great question. And in the mortgage space, we've got to realize that people are very transactionally based when they interact with us. When they see the advertisement, they're going to go to the business page, scroll through. They're there for maybe 2 minutes just to check out the brand, make sure that you're reputable, you're in the industry, you're active on a fairly regular basis. So people think, oh, I got to post on Facebook 5 times a day in order to make this thing work. If you're in there, you know, 2, maybe 3 times a week, just posting relevant information that you're getting in your email anyway, and just flip that over to the business page, people just want to see that you're active and you're reputable. It's the ad that does the work and generates the lead.
Okay, so let's do this. I want to make sure we get into Jacqueline because that was an important topic from last week, was the 5 reviews. But I want to give each mentor and coach a chance to ask a question. So Todd first, Jen second, and then Michelle Town. I don't know if you can unmute, or I'll ask the question you put in chat. But Todd, what question do you have for Chris?
I think there's people who are saying, holy smokes, this is way overwhelming. Great, I can afford $15 a day. How much does it cost to hire someone like you, Chris, to do this for us?
Thank you for that question. So we manage campaigns, and the base level is $500 a month, and that gets you to an ad spend of up to $10,000 a month. And then after that, we take a 10% fee of whatever the ad budget is. So it's and that's to have a full-time account manager manage everything for you.
And do you guys set up the ads for that? These 9 different images and 9 different things, that's all? You guys do all that for us, set up the lead page and everything that would be associated with that?
Yeah, we even help the client write the free report.
All right, so $500 sounds like a bargain to me. I'm thinking your phone might start ringing in about 26 minutes.
Cool.
Jen.
Okay, yeah, so thank you so much, by the way. I mean, it's very clear that we need to have an expert, you know, and us all being mortgage experts, right? We don't want people to think of us as a commodity. I'm sure that's the same thing with you. And so I think it's very clear that we need to have an expert helping us on this. We are not an expert in this business. So I know if you're listening in, you're thinking about the money, think about Michelle's conversation last week on the call, which was you need to invest in yourself, even if it's 10% of your time or 10% of your money, you have to invest in yourself. So this is, I mean, $500 is a loan, guys, it's one loan. So the question I have, so thank you for doing all that, but the question I have is something that I'm challenged with, and I'm sure others on the call are too, is that I am not licensed in every state in the United States. So I want to make sure that if I'm going to dedicate the time and effort and money to exploding this marketing avenue, that I'm not having to turn half of the people that I convert away, or that I can possibly convert away. So how can you isolate that? And then the second question is, I have 4 Facebook pages, and I do have a business. Yeah, and I do have a business page for my lending business. But how deep does that need to go as far as the activity? I know you said, be there 2-3 times a week, but how deep does that activity actually have to be for someone to really, take hold with me? Would I need to work on that a little bit before I put this in play? Is there a procedure that would be better to get the better results?
So that's an excellent question. I'm not normally good with 2-part questions. I'm a pretty simple dude.
Sorry.
Okay, so for the first, okay. So for the first part of the question, when you're setting up your Facebook ad, you choose the geography. So you can choose the city and narrow it down very, very specific. We've got some campaigns that will run just in a specific postal code or zip code, excuse me.
Okay.
So that's not a problem at all. The business page, it is my recommendation that you've got kind of 30 days worth of a little bit of history on the business page that you're going to be running your advertisements on, so that when somebody sees the ad and they just want to check and see if you're reputable before they fill in their contact information, that they can go on the business page, do that quick scroll and see, okay, they're active, this is good information, they're talking about mortgages, I get it. I'm comfortable leaving my information on the form. So it doesn't have to be crazy, and you can put all that information in a very short period of time. You just want to make sure that they've got something to look at.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, Michelle, you're up. You got a question?
Hey guys, sorry, today's my day off, and my pup's out here keeping me happy, so I wanted to jump in. Great stuff. Oh my gosh. Question for you: if we decided to hire you, because I think that, again, you are the professional at this, and I always look at working with professionals, right? Because people come to me for mortgages, they don't come to me to real estate. I always refer them to the realtor. Do you guys help us with the metrics as well? And what do you use for your metrics? Do you use Google Sheet? Do you use your CRM strictly to do your measurements, or how do you do that?
So that's a great question. And we manage all of the metrics on Facebook. So we install all the pixels for you. We install the conversion tracking, everything that you need to establish, okay, how many of these clicks turned into leads? What's my cost per lead? What's all of that? We stop at here's the lead. What happened? How many phone calls do you get? We ask you to track that in your business, but we don't have an internal system or a CRM to give to you that will track it all the way through to a funded loan. So we work with you and ask you to track that. That's a bit of a pain point in our business, knowing how much of the leads actually fund, because a lot of the time our customers are so busy, we're lucky enough to get them on the phone once a month, and we ask them the question, and they say, I don't know yet, I'll call you back later. And we never really get the full outline. Some of them are very good at tracking it, others are not. And to give you some rough metrics, Dave, I apologize if I'm going over time.
1 more minute.
Okay. So you should be roughly a 75% contact rate on the leads that actually fill out the information. You should be able to actually connect with about 75% of those people. And then of that 75%, about 10% of those people should be interested enough to actually get on the phone and look at taking an appointment or taking an application. That we've been able to establish that down to a pretty solid metric, but then that to funded loans, it's kind of all over the place depending on the business owner.
Depending on whether they delivered a total cost analysis or not. But we'll talk about we'll talk about that in another call. So let's do this. So Chris, one, you are awesome, and we do have more questions.
Thank you.
I would love for you to stay on the rest of this call for the next 20 minutes, because I have a feeling how you promote and market your reviews. There's a Facebook strategy around that, and hopefully you can share some wisdom on that. I am going to share my desktop right now, so you can see my desktop. And what I did is I'm showcasing a post that Jacqueline Gallegos put on the Mortgage Coach Productivity Group. And Jacqueline, I know you're not in the place where you could do video right now, but I you're killing it. And like I said at the very beginning of the call, Jacqueline and the branch that she works for out of Denver, Colorado, first of all, they do an incredible job of using Mortgage Coach and delivering a total cost analysis. They've all been through Darren Hardy's Insane Productivity Program, so they're a super effective, efficient team. And then they've also really, put a lot of science and effort into getting 5-star reviews. So Jacqueline, first, why don't you tell us, just how many reviews you're getting, what your rating is, and then share some best practices, because that was a big question everybody had last week, and I want to make sure we're responsive to it. And then we'll keep this Facebook conversation going depending on how long that takes.
Okay, so number of reviews that I have, I'd say probably close to 75 to 80% of my clients will fill out a post-closing review.
Wow.
And I'd say about 50% of my realtors are responding to a mid-process survey. So we've got it set up. Yeah, so we've got it set up so that an email goes out automatically, and I don't know the logistics of how that's happening. I just know it's happening through social survey. And so it goes out to the client automatically. I usually have a response within 2 to 3 days of the loan funding. And we're asking them questions like, how would you rate the service of the operations department? How would you rate the communication of the loan officer? How do you rate the support you felt you received? Things like that. So those post automatically. We've got them set up to post to LinkedIn, Facebook, and to my Twitter feed, so you can set it up to all of your socials. And then generally what I'll do, depending on the review itself, is I'll tag, if I'm friends with the client on Facebook, I'll tag the client so that I can recognize them that way. If it was an agent referral, I'll make sure to include the agent in that. So the one that you're seeing on the Mortgage Coach website or in the Facebook is just when it's automatically posted, and then I re-shared it on my personal page too, so that you saw it in both places if you're not following my business page, and just try to highlight a couple things. So this particular one, I added in a couple more details of what her specific situation was, and that generally will generate some conversation there. In my email signature, I also have a link that says, see what my customers are saying about me, which takes you to the social survey page. And then at the bottom of my email signature, it also says in bright yellow, we are dedicated to helping you reach your goals. Please help us reach ours. If you're pleased with your experience with us, we ask that you please consider giving us a 5-star review, a referral, or a brief testimonial. So I'm trying to constantly stay in front of them that way. And then one of the scripts that we use is, it's my goal that once you've closed on your new home or closed on this refinance, that you feel we provided a 5-star experience for you. So if at any point during the transaction you think that we're falling short, please let us know so that we can make the necessary corrections to get us back on track for a 5-star experience. So we're really trying to stay in front of them that way. I use that line a lot. So, go ahead.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. That's a script. I mean, that's what you say to the client, whether you're on the phone or in person. Mm-hmm. That's not an email. That's a conversation. That's
a conversation. And I use that script in some variation if I know the client's shopping me or rate shopping me. I'll include that piece in there because we have a couple of guarantees that we use, and that's really one of our selling points as far as the customer service piece of it goes. So if I know clients like shopping me with like some bankrate.com, I'm going to be like, you know what, here's part of my commitment to you is this 5-star experience, and here's some actual reviews from clients so that I can kind of circle them back and see, no, these are real people and this is really what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. But by the way, folks, I'm doing a study right now, but I know how it's going to end up. I was meeting with the social survey team at the MBA event recently, and they were showing me, some of their highest rated loan officers, and we were looking at who are the loan officers that do the most total cost analysis, and it was like the same. So, the total cost analysis is a piece of that. But here's the other deal. I've now started having conversations with loan officers. One, what percentage of your clients are filling out a review? And I think the industry average is less than 30% are actually getting reviews. And Jacqueline's getting over 50%. And she's getting it from loan officers and realtors. And so just let's unpack what we just heard. She's using a technology solution. Again, she's using social survey. There are others, although I think this is a great one. she's talking about it all the time with clients and realtors, so it's part of her value prop. You know, she's packaging it in emails, online, all kinds of places. So, I mean, this is super impressive. One last question, and then I'm going to turn it over. I'm going to let Chris ask a question, because I bet, Chris, you have some ideas on how reviews can be leveraged on Facebook to improve conversion and generate leads. And so how would you monetize your results? Like, can you think of loans that you got because you have so many reviews, or can you think of loans that you've closed that you don't think you would have ever otherwise closed? Help us get a sense of just how valuable this is to your success.
So since we've only been using social survey, I think, since the beginning of this year. And so I know I've had a couple of clients who will say, hey, you were referred to me by so-and-so realtor, and I went and Googled you, and people say a lot of really nice things about you, so we wanted to use you. So I've probably had like 3 or 4 clients say that I know they're at least searching me. And if you Google my name, this is one of the first websites that comes up. So I know it's working. And I'll have clients who they'll click on the link in my email signature that says, see what my customers are saying about me, and mid-process. And they'll come back later and be like, hey, I looked at this, and you're right. People, all these nice things that people are saying about you, this is all true, things like that. So I know it's working. It's just still getting in front of people. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we've only been using it for this year. I think we launched it in January this year. So still seeing
By the way,
exactly.
Folks, love that. By the way, I just Googled Jacqueline's name, and check it out. I mean, she owns it. You know, her Zillow, her social survey, you know, so you own your name on Facebook. Great job on that. Way to go. And then, by the way, everybody, you know, homework assignment, don't do it right now. After this call, Google your name. And if it's not awesome, you know, you might want to think about investing in making that awesome. Okay. Hey, Todd, do you have any questions for her? And then,
you know, I got a couple. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I got a couple things. One is just a coaching point to the rest of you who are going, gosh, this is one more thing. I'm already thinking about my Facebook ads. Now I got to get some social survey or some other online thing. Take Jacqueline's script, use it whether you use social survey or a service like that or not. I mean, if you make a commitment up front to your clients about providing 5-star service and asking for feedback along the way, you're going to have more satisfied clients who are going to refer you more business. So you don't need to spend any more money, but that's a script you should use. And then really my only other question for you, Jacqueline, is when, besides that initial phone call, where else are you scripting in with the client on the phone? Hey, don't forget my survey. Hey, am I providing great service? Hey, you know, anything else around the survey process to make sure they understand the expectation you have that they're going to fill it out at the end?
I really don't ask any more about the survey piece, but what I do say at the end of every call with a client or a real estate agent is just ask them, is there anything else I can do to serve you today? And just that simple question, and I've honestly just been doing that in the last 30 days, and that's actually generated a lot of really interesting feedback and activity that I wasn't anticipating. So when you come from a point of view of service to the client, it's a no-brainer for them to fill out that survey for you.
Love it. I love it. I mean, think about the rest of you. How often are you guys asking anyone, whether it's a client or a referral partner, hey, is there anything extra I can do? Great way to end every call. Nice job.
Yeah, and I do want to make a note. So social survey, you have to have an enterprise relationship. So, you know, that is a technology that you as a loan officer, I don't want to speak to whether you have to pay for it or your company pays for it, but you need to have an enterprise relationship. In most of it's called the reputation management space, you know, really to do it well and do it right requires a corporate relationship. I am going to start a thread for anybody that's on this call that is using some type of tech to capture, package, and promote reviews. I want to know what everybody is doing, so I will start a thread in a minute when I can multitask and I'm not talking in our Facebook group, so please share what you're doing on that. Michelle, you jump back on. I'm going to let you ask a question in a minute, but Chris, you are a guest. 1, do you have questions? Or 2, anything you can share with us around how reviews can help clients that invest with you? You're on mute, Chris.
You're muted.
Sorry. Michelle, do you want to go first?
I will let
Nice
you go first. You go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. All right. And so first off, congratulations. This is phenomenal. So I've got a couple of questions. The first is about the integration of when you get somebody to leave you a review on Social Survey, how many of those people do you find are going direct to another network like your Zillow profile or your Google My Business profile and leaving a review there as well? Is that something that you work on?
Not necessarily. I have clients who will ask if there's anywhere else, and I usually just direct people to Social Survey. The Zillow reviews do post to to Social Survey, so there's an integration there. But Zillow and Social Survey, and then my Facebook business page are really the main places that I direct clients. But because of the way Social Survey monitors and tracks everything, that's usually the top one that I send people to.
Okay, great. Excellent. Just a little workflow tweak. If you can get those reviews over to Google My Business as well, or have something for the top promoters that you have to go over to Google My Business as well, those reviews are one of the 3 top ranking factors that we're seeing in a local marketplace. So that will probably bring you some direct market lead gen off of Google when people are looking for loan officer or mortgage lender. So that is phenomenal. And the other question that I had is, because I get this question quite a bit, are you incentivizing your past clients at all for ratings or reviews, or is it just strictly good process?
It's just good process. There's no incentivizing.
That's a fantastic answer. Cool. That's it. That's all I had. Oh, and I mean, touching on the whole Facebook thing. Do you ever take, outside of the Social Survey integration that happens on Facebook, are you promoting those reviews on Facebook at all?
I'm not promoting them from like the monetary side. What I'll do is I'll tag the people that are related to the survey in it, and thank the realtor for referring them, and tag the client if it's a friend of mine and things like that. So that's really the extent of any promotion that I'm doing on those.
Very cool.
Any recommendations, Chris? If you were a loan officer like Jacqueline who has, incredible reviews, a body of reviews, is there anything, if she was your customer, is there anything you'd recommend?
Yeah. So talking about retargeting and having your past customer audiences inside Facebook, what we do is we take the past customer audience and we run a small little advertisement that says, please don't forget that my business runs on your referrals. And then what we're doing is we're promoting the testimonials that you've already gotten on Facebook, whether it's a screenshot of that or whether we're promoting the actual post itself. And those ads only show up to your past customers. So you're using social proof to then follow them so that when they have somebody that they can refer to you, you're top of mind and you've already established that in their mind shares that the referrals are important to you and your business. So we find that we're actually getting more referrals from past customers by following them with the reviews after the purchase. So
hey Chris, would you target that towards
Go ahead, Todd.
Would you target those towards realtors as well?
Get her question in.
Well, my question real quick was just, would you target those towards realtors as well, Chris? If you were going to target your reviews towards your past clients, would you target that to realtors at the same time?
That is a brilliant idea, Todd. And the answer is, from this point forward, absolutely.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Hey, it's time for speedball. 5 minutes left. Michelle, question?
Jacqueline, great. I wouldn't put on my Denver Broncos championship shirt for you, but just wanted to let you know, I think great ideas. I, not only with asking for reviews, I try to do it again at the doc stage. That was something that I learned from Zillow. But also, when I do that 45-day call, I do it as well. And we do the phone call, but also we send them an email reminder, but we do incentivize a little bit. I hope that's not bad, but we tell them that we'll give them a cup of coffee on us. So when everybody who fills out a review on us gets a thank you card, a handwritten thank you card with a Starbucks card every single time. And I lost my social media person, but I used to post them on LinkedIn and Facebook, but I I'm very excited to be getting on the phone with Chris next week to start doing some work for us, because I'm not good at that. I'm terrible at social media. I'm not a millennial, and I need to let somebody else that's better than me do it. So I'm excited.
Love that. Jen, did you have a question for Chris?
Yeah, the question I have for you, Chris, is you mentioned that.
Or Jacqueline.
Oh, yeah. But Chris, the question or the comment that you had just mentioned was that Google My Business was one of the top 3. Zillow. Who's the third? What's the third? Facebook. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
But there's a caveat to that. Every marketplace is different. So if you go on your screen right now and Google mortgage lender, what you'll notice is that most of the mortgage lenders in the top organic search have been pushed out of the organic ranking. So you'll see ads at the top, and then you'll see what's called the 3-pack, the map ranking. And then underneath there, you'll see Zillow, then you'll see Yelp, and then you'll see some other third-party rating and review site there. And then underneath, normally those top 3 organic placements, you'll see the other mortgage lenders that have maybe a larger brand or a good, local optimization campaign. So if you look at your specific marketplace, you can see which review engines are going to give you the most Google juice just by doing a Google search and seeing where they're pulling the authority from. So it's almost always Zillow and Yelp, and then there is always potentially a local business page or something like that that's also getting reviews showcased on Google. So it'll be different for everybody. Just do a Google search on mortgage lender.
Well, and that's interesting because we didn't talk about Yelp today. So Dave, maybe we can discuss that too. I'm not a fan of Yelp generally.
Neither.
Well, let's do this. We've only got a few minutes. I will make Yelp a future target. I do hear a lot of clients that are killing it with Yelp. While I'm going to ask Jacqueline, I'm going to let you have the final question here. But while she's asking that question and someone is answering it, I'm going to be pulling through the Facebook page because there are a number of posts. And part of what makes this group amazing is that, one, it's the best loan officers in the country. Best loan officers in the country are part of the Mortgage Coach crew. And you're engaged in this community. So please, when we post a survey question, respond. When we ask a question, play along, because a mastermind like this is only as good as the group. It's only as good as the interaction. So I'm just going to scroll to remind some of those. But Jacqueline, do you have any questions for Chris or anyone else on the call?
Nope, I think I'm good.
Okay, you're good. So as we wrap this up, I want to shine a light on the fact that I'm trying to find out what topics you want to hear. I am going to be doing we're still going to do Friday, so it's not like a replacement of Friday, but I am going to do an invite-only mastermind call for top Mortgage Coach users, and I want to know what topics you would like me to cover. By the way, if you want to be invited to this call, you had to have created at least 100 TCAs. Definitely people that have created 500 or more total cost analysis, you will be invited to this. People that have created less than 100, invite only. And if you didn't do 100, you're just not there yet. I did want to shine a light on the fact that Brian asked a question. Please, check that out, answer it. I am trying to find out who are some of the most, I don't say popular, the most common coaches in our community. So if you have a coach, we'd love to know who your coach is. We'll talk about that in the future. Chris, you crushed it. Huge value. We do a Mortgage Coach demo 2 times a week. We have one at 11 o'clock today. Play this forward. Anybody that's not on the Mortgage Coach team, get them into the Mortgage Coach team. Jeffrey asked a question yesterday. Please check it out. Answer it if you can. I have, it's funny. I have had a lot of realtors, indirectly or directly, that have asked, hey, what's the best CRM? And so I am trying to, bird dog, what are some of the most popular and what are the best CRMs for realtors? So, and by the way, if you don't know what CRM your realtor is using, you should know. You just haven't, you're not curious enough about what drives their success. But please contribute to this. And I think that's enough. I think I fire hosed you. Todd, any final words as we wrap up today's call?
I just leave it the way I always leave it, right? Get off this call, schedule a jam session, 15 minutes minimum, 30 minutes to 60 minutes is better, and make this actionable, right? You heard something great from Chris, you heard something great from Jacqueline. there's gold there. Let's just put it to work. So, and super excited. Always appreciate all you guys showing up on a busy Friday, especially. Oh, and happy Veterans Day. Thanks for your service for any of you who are on the call who served.
Thank you very much, folks. And please fill out the questionnaire on the way out. The poll, do we exceed your expectations? Solid takeaways. If you want to demo a mortgage coach and you're a guest, click the last option. And Chris, I hope your phone blows up and your email blows up with mortgage coach members that want to contract with you.
Oh, hey, thanks, and I'm happy to share anytime. I'd love to come back if there's any other questions. Thank you for having me.
All right, take care, everybody. Have an awesome day and a great weekend. This call is a wrap.